love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something, don't take for granted.
Carlton don't seem to lose games, they seem to unravel in games. And this wasn't just another one of them losses. This was that perfect example of a team that can be elite for moments, but then completely fall apart when the game asks a different question. Because against Adelaide, Carlton didn't get just beat. They got beaten by a system, adaptability, and a team that understand the moment better than they did. Carlton were waiting for the system. Adelaide were busy creating the moment. Let's get into it. So gather round, Adelaide Oval, rain pouring down. Carlton came into serious pressure. Adelaide was searching for a response, and earlier it looked like Carlton had finally clicked. 7 goals in the first quarter, fast, explosive and direct. Exactly what you'd want them to be. But the final score, 114-86. The scary part, they followed the exact same script that we've seen before. Because let's be clear, the first quarter is Carlton at their best. Contested dominance, quick clearance, ball moving forward before the opposition can even think about setting. Walsh was everywhere, Cripps was powerful through stoppage, but rejuvenated without Hewitt. Contest, release, chaos forward, goal. And when you play like that, they look very good. But here's the problem. This only works when everything goes your way. When you're winning clearances, when you're winning it cleanly, when the momentum is with you, and when the game is fast and it's open. When the moment changes and pressure rises, the game slows, and that moment you have to react instead of think. And what do you fall back on? So the first quarter, it wasn't controlled. It was Carlton playing their winning script. And then we hit that moment, the exact moment that we dread coming. Cripps goes off, Adelaide win the next centre clearance, and you can instantly feel the shift. The organisation disappears, the communication stutters, and no one takes control. Centre clearance, goal, crowd lifts. And that's when it hits you. They're not stopping this. Because from then on, Adelaide goes 6-0 in centre clearances, 9-0 inside 50, 5 straight goals. That's not a run, that's a complete system collapse. And this is where we need to be clear, because Carlton didn't lose because George Hewitt wasn't there. They lost because nothing changed. Good teams in that moment, they slow it down. They go to the boundary, they reset shape, they absorb, they change matchups. Carlton, they kept playing the same way, kept forcing the game, trying to turn it into something it wasn't. And they fed Adelaide exactly what they wanted. Easy ball, defensive half. Backed this up perfectly. Carlton had 60 inside 50s, kicked 12 goals, 2 for 13 for forward 50 contested possessions. Adelaide, 11.4 from intercept chains. That's the game right there. But what does that mean? It means Carlton moved the ball forward, but with no structure, no ground support, no one front and centre, no second effort. So when the ball hits the ground, particularly in the wet, Adelaide walk it out, and then you have that killer. Turnover, score. Every time. And there's another layer to this, because this is not just structural or personnel. It's creativity, it's imagination. And Carlton right now are a team that are completely locked into one way of playing, almost blindly. Same rotation, same setup, same entries, same patterns, even when it's clearly not working. And this is the key point. They didn't just lose the game because of who was missing. They lost it because they refused to do something different. No shift in tempo, no different look at stoppage, no adjustment forward, no extra ground support. They just kept playing the same game and ultimately losing at that game. Now compare that to Adelaide. They look like a team that wanted to make something happen. At stoppage, they adjust. In transition, they attack space. Inside 50, they lower their eyes and more importantly move and react and be front and centre. This was instinct, freedom, belief. Carlton, they hesitate. Second guess, almost wait for the system to tell them what to do next. And this is the incredibly dangerous part, because when the game becomes chaotic, when it's wet, when it's messy, when it's not perfect, you can't rely on structure alone. You need players that can solve the Rubik's Cube of AFL. And right now, Adelaide are a team that plays on gut instinct. Carlton are a team that's playing with its handbrake on. Now, let's talk about them structural issues. Carlton weren't just too tall in this game. They're too slow for modern day AFL football. When you look at Mackay, McGovern, Kemp, Pittonet, O'Keefe, that's height, that's marking. But when that doesn't happen, and when they bring the ball to ground, That's when they get exposed. Now you add conditions, rain, chaos, repeat contest, ground ball game, a team that's smaller and quicker than you. Who thrives? The small pressure-based players? The chaos players? And Adelaide had that in spades. Josh Rochelle, Rankine, Keys, players like Saligo around the ball. Carlton, slow to react, second to the ball, losing the moment, not moving ahead of the ball. Modern footy isn't about the first possession, it's about the second. And Carlton lost that all night. And this is where Adelaide were ruthless. They didn't just win the ball, they put the pressure on to force the mistakes and then punish them. 27 points for defensive chains, 11.4 from intercepts. That's modern footy. That is elite. Carlton, predictable entries, long kicks, no separation, no ground support, no one front and centre. So every time they went forward, they weren't attacking. They were effectively feeding Adelaide's scoring chains. And that matters because it isn't just Carlton being bad or Adelaide being good. It's the plan that happens all the time. Adelaide just reorganised in the moment and attacked. They didn't panic. They absorbed pressure. And when the game shifted, they could take the pounce. Their stoppage work adjusted very quickly. Their pressure lifted. And then that transition game eats you alive. And their forward line is functioned as a system, not individuals. Biggest difference, Josh Rochelle, the fourth goal early in the quarter. And then that, it's not just the finishing, it's the timing. Carlton try and steady. Rochelle snaps it, crowd lift. And from there, Adelaide have that momentum. And they feel the moment. They attack it. They bring players in. And the uncomfortable part, at 7 goals up, who stopped it? Who slowed the game? Who organised the shape? Who said enough? Let's reset. Because this isn't on one player, this is a collective. Yes, Walsh worked in the first, so did Cripps. He started strong. When it mattered, no one grabbed the game by the bull of the horns. And what the difference that makes between the good teams, the reliable teams, the ones that we should be challenging, that's where we want to aspire to be. We're nowhere near it, and that worries me, because this is beyond tactics. This is trust, this is belief, this is creativity, this is thinking your way out of it. And when you watch Carlton right now, you don't just see the mistakes in the coach's box, you see it on the ground as well. You see hesitation, you see players take that extra second, use an extra handball, choose the safe option instead of the right one. And that doesn't come from skill, that comes from the self-doubt. Great teams, they trust themselves, the system, the players around them, they trust the decision. Carlton looked like 23 guys that wouldn't trust each other in the trenches. And when it goes down, everything just falls apart. It becomes reactive and it becomes very fragile because it is. That's why they look fine when it's on their terms, but when the game turns, when it tightens, they fall apart. Because in these moments, there isn't the players in there with the mental capacity to rise to the occasion. They fall back on what they know. Right now, that's just looking at each other with a dumbstruck face, hoping it fixes itself. So this isn't the form, the tactics, this is the identity. Start well, lose control at some point, collapse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And the biggest concern is we're the worst side in the league at stopping momentum. It's fatal in football. So the real question is where to from here. It's not just what went wrong. It's more important to think how you fix it, because right now for me, we're being exposed by the modern game. Speed, overlap, ground level, front and centre, repeat efforts, and some of them are the basics. And the reality is, they don't have enough of it. So what do? Do you change the mix? Do you bring in more runners? Do you bring in more ground level players? Do they adjust the forward structure? Be less predictable, more chaotic, have a lot more support at the fall of the ball? Do you rethink how that ball moves? Because right now it's predictable and it's easy to defend. More importantly, easy to break your defence. Maybe the biggest question of all, do the players actually trust themselves to play with freedom anymore and really take the game on? Because at this moment, when the question is in the game, Carlton have not got any answers. And until they find that out, this won't be the last time we probably play this story. Carlton don't need to play better. They need to think differently. And the worst part is it just keeps happening again. Different opponent, different week. Same story. And at some point, the Blues have to be honest with themselves. It's not coincidence anymore. It is what they set out to achieve. Everything is the end goal of this plan. Carlton doesn't just have a talent problem. They have a system that only works when everything goes right. And against Adelaide, nothing went right. Adelaide played the game that they wanted to. Once they got Carlton to play open plan, game over. And Carlton tried to play a game that doesn't exist under pressure. This is a long way from where we expect to be. Michael Voss will talk about contest and pressure, will get after it and things like that. But the simple fact is, when you remove Hewitt out of there, we expect more midfield rotations. Jagger being off the ground for so long, Cripps being off the ground when the game's getting overrun, Harry Mackay being isolated, not being able to mark, Carlton still kicking high and long to 1-on-4s when it's wet. These are all AFL basics and 101 of how you play the game in the wet and what you shouldn't do. The Blues continually put themselves in these positions. And although the scoreboard will say it's a little bit closer, I would like to counter all those who say the free kicks cost us the game. I would love to see that third quarter be played in the bone dry like it was at the start. Adelaide had the ascendancy. I reckon that could have got well out of hand very quickly, because you saw Adelaide struggled. But the big thing is, when the rain came, the great equaliser, one team adapted a lot quicker than another team. One team was willing to take the chance, play the percentages. The other team was clinging to survive. And that is heartbreaking, because I think the boys are better than what they're putting in. At the moment, they look reluctant to go that extra level. And that's beyond Michael Voss. A lot of these players have played enough games to work their way out of trouble. And at this stage, it is alarming how off everyone is, including Michael Voss. It's a tough one to watch, everyone, and I appreciate you and the support we had in the watch-along. Best community in football is this, and even though I'm hurting at the minute, credit to Adelaide. They did what they had to do, and hopefully that helps kickstart their season, because they're a very, very good football team and have a lot of role players, which at the minute it feels like that's the difference between us and them. They have the spread of players that can step up. We seem to be relying on the same eggs, and when them eggs are off the ground, like Cripper, like Walsh not getting his hands on it, everything slims and breaks down very quickly. I hope in the next couple of weeks we see something different. I'd love to trial Jagger off half-back, try and get him into the game a little bit more, get him to trust that boot. I'd like to see a way that we try and formulate this experiment of Brodie Kemp and Harry Mackay as our two key forwards. I hope we try and get a little bit more imaginative. Flynn Young has to come into this team. Watching how Carlton played this week, Flynn would have been a delight just to give us something on that outlet. But at the minute, the game is won on overlap, and the game is won on your ability to spread from the contest. And if you can break even from there, that's the difference. And right now, I think we need to be real. We are so far off it, and that's okay. But there needs to be something in place that says we're going to get better. Because for now, we're so far away from it. Love you all, chat. Make sure you like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Peace, love. I've been Pom. You've been fantastic. See you soon.